I'd like to welcome you guys to this week's report. Today is Thursday, January 26th, I believe. And we're coming off a week of pretty weekend anyway, of pretty inconsistent weather. If you're wondering why I'm dressed this way, I've been looking for an opportunity to talk a little bit about dressing on the boat in different kinds of weather, and the lack of fishing reports this week gives me a good opportunity to do it. But before I get into that, we do have some fishing to report on, and we have weather to report on, which is going to be really nice all weekend everywhere. Light Santa Anas. Every zone is in play again this weekend. After the rainy debacle last weekend, it's good to have some opportunities to get out and go fishing. So let's start up at the Channel Islands. Again, no one's really been fishing up there. I know the Aloha Spirit went out one day over the weekend and had slower fishing, but that was in the middle of all the storms and everything. They got trips online for those halibut trips. I know the boats out of Santa Barbara have local trips online to fish for sand bass and calicos and sculpin. Also whitefish, which are still allowed. So yeah, if you want to do any of that, or you're a private boat that wants to go to Santa Cruz or whatever to fish bass, it'd probably be a good weekend to do it. I think we're going to be far enough away from storms to not have a huge effect. You will have to deal with the full moon cycle we're on though, so that may make for a little bit slower fishing midday. If you're a bass guy, wherever you go, you want to go early or go late. At least for calico bass. Sand bass it doesn't really have a big of an impact on, but the bass fishing is definitely going to be a morning thing and I would say after 2 p.m. kind of thing the next few days from my experience. We didn't really have any coverage of the islands, Catalina or Clemente. We didn't really have a lot of wind associated with this storm, so I don't think that's going to be a real big issue. I think they're probably, whatever was there before is still there now. And, in fact, I ventured out locally on Tuesday afternoon against my much better judgment. We had, it had stopped raining. It was post-frontal, but the fog we had Tuesday morning convinced me that maybe the post-frontal conditions were going to hold off for another day. So Matt and I launched on, about 1:30 in the afternoon and ran up to Palos Verdes. The good news is the water up there was still 60.5 to 61 degrees. The bad news is there was a huge west swell. Everything was just washed out. A lot of the areas we'd caught fish in before were either unfishable due to the big swell or they were mudded out. We fished from Point Furman up to the area above Trump National Golf Course and back for 0 bites. And then we went down and fished a fairly long section of the breakwall for 0 bites. And then we went and cranked at Royal Island in the harbor, and Matt caught one probably 10-inch bass on a crankbait. And that was our 2.5 hours of fishing there. So post-frontal conditions plus full moon definitely did a number on us. So it's hopefully the worst trip of the year here. It's definitely the worst one in a while. During the storm, fish were biting. They usually don't mind when it's raining, and it's probably an appropriate time to talk about foul weather gear. But my friends Bobby Martinez and Brian Sander went out and fished Long Beach Harbor on Saturday, and in between bouts of rain, they caught spotted bay bass and nice sand bass and things like that, cranking and throwing swim baits along the riprap. It's a fun way to spend the day if you're if it's too rough outside or just got a few hours to kill. Definitely just fishing tight to that riprap can be very productive, and there's a whole lot of it in there. So lots to adventure around with. Local boats are still fishing sand bass and sculpin and doing all right when they're getting out. The Native Sun is still running their halibut derby. They had a 20-pounder the other day, along with, I think they got 3 fish. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of halibut, but they catch other things too: sand bass, calicos, short halibut, junk like that, and they got some good prizes for the thing. So I'm surprised at the size of the halibut they're getting. I think they've got 3 over 20 pounds already, which is a pretty good grade of fish for this tournament. So before I talk about my foul weather gear, I want to give an update on my dogs. I talked about them a couple weeks ago if you watched, and my dog Steve on Saturday night ended up, he suffered from breathing problems the whole time we had him. Esophageal, I don't know, Rachel's my wife's a veterinarian, she knows all the words I don't. But about 10:30 on Saturday night, he started his breathing cycle where he couldn't get any air, and we ended up having to take him to the emergency vet nearby and euthanize him. And while I'm going to miss him, he was a great dog while we had him 14 months, I think. And after we got him at the pound, all these dogs we have come from the pound, and really got to know us. We got to know him. It was great to have him as part of our life. So since we had that hole to fill, Rachel went out today. She's off Thursdays, and picked up Chloe at the pound. This is a 10-plus-year-old Chihuahua that the owners had to give up because back in December she sat in the pound for almost 2 months because of health issues. So she's got heart murmur and a lot of bad teeth, and she might have cancer of her teat, or I don't know what you call it, a dog, the nipple area there where the milk comes out. And so very happy to have her. She's a great addition. All the other dogs love her. And hopefully if we can get all this health stuff taken care of, we'll have her for a few years, which would be great. And as always, just a reminder that if you're looking for a dog, definitely go to the pound and pick one up. There was 2 or 3 there. We wanted to bring them all home, but it would be impossible. So a lot of them have better health too. So just a heads up on that. So, you know, the foul weather gear I'm wearing. If you watch Tony's Sport Boat report on this channel as well, they talked about how to dress on and what clothing to bring on sport boat trips, which is very helpful. And if you haven't checked out Tony's videos, I suggest it's called the Sport Boat Roundup. It's up every week, I think, on Fridays. And I realized just how different the way I used to dress on a sport boat is from the way you really need to dress on a skiff. And so I'm going to talk about AFCO products here. I wear all AFCO stuff. There's multiple good brands in the market. I know that Grunin's makes some good stuff. I know that Sims makes some good stuff. I'm sure I'm missing some other people, but I'm going to talk about AFCO because that's what I wear. So when you're on a private boat, especially a skiff like mine, you know, an open center console where you really don't have anywhere to get out of the weather, you're going to get wet constantly throughout the day. Sometimes it's a small amount, sometimes it's a big amount. It could start with you get on the boat in the morning, there's dew, and you sit down on the rail while you get something ready, and now that dew has soaked through your pants, you got wet underwear, and it's, you know, if you're not dressed properly, that's really not a great way to start the day. Or you get a little bit of spray on the way out, or, you know, if you're using bait, you get water splashed on you. All those things, they have an impact. So on a private boat, your biggest thing to stay away from is anything that's cotton, because cotton just absorbs water and stays wet. If you know, if you ever wore a cotton t-shirt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start from the very base layer and work my way up here. And, you know, so believe it or not, AFCO actually makes underwear, which are like $30 a pair. And I got them. I'm like, wow, $30 pair of underwear, that must be really something. And I'll tell you what, it actually is really something, because they're very comfortable boxer briefs that are extremely quick drying. So when I sit on the rail in the morning, it soaks through my pants, it gets my underwear wet, they're dry within seconds, which is fantastic. It's also great on a hot day. Above that, you know, shorts, you can wear board shorts, you can wear any synthetic shorts, you know. I've got a ton of different AFCO shorts that I wear, but during the winter I like to wear long pants, and you know, AFCO makes some synthetic pants that are called Gamma Ray, and they also have poncho pants, and they're not cheap. They're like $70 a pair, but they're stretchable material, so when you're squatting down or bending over, especially if you're a bigger guy like me, it doesn't bind you up, and that's pretty important. You know, shorts are pretty, you can wear anything, but with the longer pants, you want something that's going to give you some room to move around in. And so the next thing is getting a proper shirt. And I've worn a lot of everything. I used to wear Dickies shirts, and I wore regular t-shirts, and I started wearing sun shirts. And, you know, the thing about a sun shirt is that it not only keeps the sun off you and keeps you from getting sunburned, it really brings down the level of sun fatigue you have at the end of the day. And if you're a private boater, you're probably familiar with what that is. You know, you got fish for 6 or 7 hours, you get home, you're tired. And I found a lot of that is just being out in the sun. It's beating off from above, coming up from the water as well. Now you have that. So these sun shirts, they have UV, SPF protection, whatever they are. I don't even know what the rating is, but you don't need to wear sunscreen with them. And I've had some different ones that I've worn over the years that I've liked, and others I didn't. And I have very long arms, so a problem I'll have is that I'll have a lot of shirts that come to about here on me, and I end up with like I wear gloves when I fish, so I'll have this band of tan, looks like a reverse watch tan. When I go into the office on Monday, people stare at me like I got something wrong with me. But yeah, the best shirt I found recently is this Aero Mesh shirt they came out with. You don't look up their website. There's a bunch of technical information about it, but it's the most breathable shirt as far as sun shirts go for me. So I don't, even though I'm sweating, it doesn't ever seem to get wet, and it manages to keep the sun off and has nice long sleeves. So you know, one of the issues we have when we're fishing, especially during this time of year, Jimmy and I had it when we went to Catalina the other day. It is absolutely freezing cold in the morning, and by the time you get to the island, it's hot. So you need something. You can't just dress warm because you're gonna have two very different temperatures. In fact, you know, we got over there in our foul weather gear and started fishing, and then the wind stopped blowing, the sun came out, and Jimmy's like, "Man, I'm overheating," and he opened up his foul weather gear and steam poured out like a sauna. I lost my feel there. Sorry about that. So I like to, you know, wear something in between my shirt and foul weather gear. That keeps the foul weather gear light and not warm, because you're going to be wearing that same stuff on the way home if it's rough, but it's not going to be cold out. So you want something that's cool by itself, like this Barricade bibs and jacket, which are nice, lightweight and breathable, but you need something in between. And for me, that's a puffy jacket. I have a bunch of different ones that I like. This one lately has been my favorite because it's got a hood, and I put that up and then put my foul weather gear hood over it. And that's the Crosswind puff jacket. I think this came in a couple years ago. It's made from like recycled materials, or again, go to the website. I'm not an expert at it. But you know, it's a $120 jacket. You know, this foul weather gear bibs and jacket. This is gonna cost you, you know, close to $500 for this set. The thing is, I've worn, we used to wear the Grundens or the Helly Hansen's rubberized clothing, and you can't fish in that stuff, you know, and you the minute the sun comes out, you're dying of heat exhaustion. This type of stuff is nice and lightweight, keeps the water off, keeps you cool. And they also have a product called Tech Wash that you can wash this stuff in, and it softens it back up if it gets crusty, and then there's a second bottle that you put in there that actually re-waterproofs it. So I'll do that like once a season, and these foul weather gear will remain like brand new for 5 or 6 years, and I use them a lot. They're usually stuffed in the boat. So yeah, it's investment, but it's going to save you in the long run. And the last piece of this puzzle, you know, when I fish during the summer, I fish barefoot on the boat. Even if I'm wearing foul weather gear in the morning, I'm barefoot because I'm just keeping my body warm from the air while I'm running early in the morning. But the reason I don't like wearing deck boots is because I have a very wide foot that goes with my long arms apparently. I wear a 13, but it's also very wide. So with other deck boots over the years, I've had to size up to a size 14 at times, or feel the boot rubbing on the sides of my foot. And I don't know if you ever shopped for a size 14 deck boot, but they're not that readily available in a lot of spots. So AFCO came out last year with these deck boots of theirs, and I wore them for the first couple times in the last 2 weeks. I didn't get a pair until just about a month ago, and I got some, Jimmy got some, Matt got some, and all three of us said these are absolutely the most comfortable deck boots we've ever worn in our lives. You know, you can walk around these things all day. They don't rub on your feet anywhere. There's no hot spots or pressure points in there. They have really good traction. You're not slipping and sliding. It's a nice tight cuff at the top, so you know you're not, if you got your foul weather gear on, it slides over it, so you're not having a situation where water's coming inside your foul weather gear going into your boot, which you have with some of the wider opening ones. And Yeah, super comfortable boot, and they're like $100. But I would say if you're looking for deck boots, we got all these fishing shows coming up down. Bart Hall's happening this weekend. Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show's happening soon. If you're looking for deck boots, I'd look for these AFCO boots. I'm affiliated with AFCO, but these boots I would buy 10 times over, regardless of my affiliation. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. It's gonna be nice weather this weekend. It's probably be a little on the cool side, but Santa Ana winds are gonna be blowing. Keep an eye out on that weather forecast to make sure that they don't ramp up before you head out. That happens sometimes. As long as it's less than 10 or 12 knots of Santa Ana winds, you're gonna be fine. Make a long run, go to Santa Cruz, catch a halibut or a calico, maybe run to Clemente. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. May just stay home and play with my dog most of the time, but I definitely want to catch some fish. Get a little retribution for Tuesday's trip. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a great weekend and good luck if you fish.